Hey lads, it is some hot weather here, August, Arizona, but we are ready to go to the Phoenix Chess Academy and play in their monthly Swiss tournament. It's 25 minutes with 5 seconds delay, 4 rounds. I'm excited. Let's see what we can do today. I will be playing in the under 1700 section, so be very happy if I could get some big wins. And I'm going to be playing some crazy Gambit lines. So let's see what we can do. Hey lads, sorry I played this tournament a few weeks ago and I still had a mustache when I played the tournament. We are now today and I don't have a mustache anymore, but I did play some aggressive Gambit lines. And I have to say, I'm kind of ashamed at how badly I played with the black pieces in both games of this tournament. There was 4 games, 2 of them were with black. The games I played with white, I'm fairly happy with how I played, but we did end up this tournament with 3.5 points, so we didn't actually lose. We had 1 draw and 3 wins, and sorry to give that away to you at the start, the result, but this was my best result at a tournament so far. We went from 1456 all the way up to 1495, so this is game 1. Game 1, I had the black pieces, and I was playing against a young man named Raphael, who I know likes to play the Polish. He likes to sacrifice his pawns, and often I think if I just play logically and sensibly, I can probably just go up a few pawns and then win the game. However, I wanted to play some Gambit lines, so that's what we did. Raphael played the move e4. I played e5. He went knight f3, and here I played the dubious move bishop c5. Now, according to the engine on chess.com, this is sometimes a mistake. This is sometimes a blunder. It can't ever quite make up its mind. There have been times I've played this online and I've gone into the review and it's shown it as a blunder. There are times I've played it online, exact same position, and it showed it as a mistake. So we'll just call this a blunder gambit. And I was actually really surprised after the game because Raphael said to me, I was not expecting you to play the Busch gas gambit. And I was surprised that he knew what this gambit was. But Raphael's style is to sacrifice pawns, and so I'm sure he knows a lot of gambits. He didn't accept the pawn. He could have just captured this. This is clearly his best move. The engine gives this as a plus 1.37 because it's a free pawn. But he put his bishop here on c4. I moved my knight to f6, still gambiting this pawn. This is a plus 1.29 currently for white. And he castled. And I was just like, come on. Why is nobody accepting my gambit? Like, this is a free pawn. I want to see some exciting stuff on this board, because if they do take it, the game gets a bit crazy. I played knight c6, defending the pawn. So this will be my first decent move of the game, apart from e5. And here my opponent played b4. Now this is just in Raphael's style. He just likes to sacrifice pawns. I'm not entirely sure what this enables him, but I took it. It's a free pawn. Here he went c3. Maybe he was just wanting to get c3 with tempo, causing me to move so that he can get a big white center here with all of his pawns. But I just pull back. He plays into the center, and now I just capture, and he pulls his queen over to b3. I was a bit confused. I really thought he would just capture back here. He's got 2 defenders, and everything would be good. I mean, I could capture this pawn maybe, but as soon as he did this, I thought, okay, I don't know what this opening is. Let's just try to play logical chess. And he's got 2 pieces looking at this pawn, so I need 2 defenders on this pawn, and right now I only have 1 defender, which is my king. So here I just decided to castle. We now have 2 defenders on the pawn. I've castled, and my king is safe. Here he pushes his pawn to e5. Now this is where I actually spent quite a bit of time, because I was really looking at this move, knight e4, and I thought that it looked very interesting, but I didn't know what was going to happen after he would capture here and just control the center of the board. So here, and I didn't really see
what good my knight was doing here. Apparently, I have a slight advantage if I play bishop b6, going after this pawn, but it just doesn't look super nice. Like, he's got this strong 2 pawns in the center, and I'm sort of moving my minor pieces around a lot. So I didn't think, after a long time of considering this, that this was the way to go. I did, however, find the top engine move, which was d5. And I'm very happy that I found this move. So one way to defend a piece is by not defending it at all, but attacking another piece. So that's what we went for. Here, I thought if he captures here, we can recapture with knight, and we will win his bishop for a pawn. So that looks good. And I also thought if he captures my knight, I can capture his bishop and tempo his queen, and then that would allow me to pick up the pawn on the next move. But here he captured with en passant, so that's cool. I thought that was really cool, actually. And my position's completely winning if I do one of the 3 moves. Bishop b6, just defending this pawn. a6, don't know what that does. Or c captures d6, but I just moved super quickly and captured on d6. I'm not happy about this because you can immediately see what he played. Bishop a3, pinning my queen to my rook. I completely missed it. I just didn't even see it. And as soon as I moved and he picked up, as he picked his bishop up, I was like, oh, because I had actually said to myself, is there any way for my queen to be tempoed if I take with queen? That's what I actually said in my mind. And I looked at the knight and I saw, oh, it can't tempo me. It can jump to here. It can jump to here. And from these squares, it can't attack me. That's literally what I said in my mind. And then he hits me with bishop a3. And I was like, come on. So I play queen f4, putting my queen on an active square. He takes my rook. I take his bishop. And although I'm down this exchange now, I am up 2 pawns still. So I wasn't bummed. I was a bit bummed at myself for playing inaccurately, but because there's no reason to play poorly like that. But this is how it went. So he captured this pawn now. 2 pieces were looking at it, and I only had 1 defender. So this made sense in my mind. But apparently here I have a very nice move. Bishop g4. Just completely ignoring this. And here he has to go knight takes d4. And is a bit of a long line here. I'll just show you. Knight takes d4, knight takes d4, c takes d4, bishop e2, coming over here, hitting the rook. The reason bishop e2 is so good is because it hits both of these squares. This bishop hits this square, and the queen hits this square. So there's actually nowhere for this rook to go. So he actually has to play g3, kicking my queen away. But then I can just take on d4. I'm still hitting this rook. I'm not tempoed. Now he can go to this square. So let's say he goes to this square. Well, what do you do here? Bishop b6. This is just devastating for him. So I should have looked into something like this, but I didn't see this move, bishop g4, and instead I played the move d takes c3. And I thought d takes c3 was really interesting because he has to play bishop c4, which is not super logical. Like, you play bishop c4 here, and I'm still protecting this. It just seems like a waste of time to pull your bishop back. But he didn't, and instead he captured, and now I'm completely winning again. I'm essentially up 2 points of material. I capture hitting his rook, he takes my queen, and I take back his bishop. So I'm up 2 pawns still, and I'm feeling very good about myself. He puts his rook on the open file. I now play bishop g4, which is completely losing because he's got queen b3 check, hitting my king, and then also targeting here, and then maybe taking here, depending on where my king moves. So this is pretty ugly. I shouldn't have done such a stupid move. I should have instead played king g8, trying to get my king to safety. Always prioritize king safety in a game of chess, and I didn't do that. So I developed. He checked the wrong way. I took, he took, I took, he took, and now I'm just up 2 points of material. I should win this game very simply. However, I wanted to trade rooks. He didn't let me. I played c6 so that he couldn't take this for free, and he attacks this pawn on b7. And here, I don't know what I was thinking. I just assumed that he couldn't take this pawn. And the reason I assumed that was because I have back rank checkmate. And just in my brain, I didn't even think about it. I just thought, like, this game's completely winning for me. I'm going to just destroy this kid. No problems, no questions asked. It's going to be fine. And so I just played knight d5 because I thought if I play the knight into the center, that kind of like allows him to make this mistake of capturing on b7. And then he captured and I said, oh, he captured with check. Like, what am I doing? I've just given him one of those points of material back, and now I'm only up 1 point of material. This game's really close again. I move my king to f6. Like, why go here? This is just really bad. Put the rook here on e7 and defend this pawn. But I didn't. I went to f6, and now he captures the other pawn for free. So I've just given him the 2 points of material back for nothing. Like, just total garbage. I don't know why my brain says these things is okay, because I know it's not okay. Anyway, I move up to f5, and now his position is completely winning because he can take another pawn. He can also tempo my bishop, and this is what he does. He tempos my bishop. He tempos this way, and so I'm able to get my bishop onto d1, and he takes this pawn. I move my rook up now, trying to just trade off, and he pins my knight, so I unpin. He double attacks my knight with both rooks, so I have to defend twice. He moves over, I attack him, he moves back, and I attack him, I defend, and here he plays f4. And now the position is completely drawn. And I was just really frustrated with myself at how badly I was playing, but I saw maybe I have something here. So I threw in rook on e1 check, and he runs away. And so here I took the pawn. Looking at this, looks very lovely. Now apparently he can play rook f5 and be totally okay in about half a point of material ahead still technically, but he played the move g3. And here I saw, well, we have a forced draw. I can just cycle back and forth on these squares, and he can never come forwards to check, to get the rook. It's not possible. And so I knew I had a draw here, and that's what I went for. Check. He goes back. Check. He's only got one square. He has to go here. Check. He could come here, but if he does, then I have rook g2, and if let's say he goes here, then I have bishop e2 check. He goes here. And then we have knight d3, king here, and a beautiful bishop f3 checkmate. Because the knight holds these squares, the bishop holds here, the rook cuts through. So he can't ever really come forwards. So he kept going back to h1. But apparently, I didn't have to offer a draw. I could have played the move knight d3. Actually, I think he offered the draw, and I accepted. But the reason I accepted was because I thought this one's in danger, and also if this one moves, then I lose control of this square, and he can just come here and win my bishop. So I thought there's nothing I could do, but I have just knight d3, and here, let's say he checks me now, king e3, and let's say he does something silly like this. Well, then I can go rook d2, and then I have a forced checkmate in 5. Rook f2, I'll do the best moves by the engine. King g2, knight g4 check. Let's say the king goes to f1. We have knight h2 check. The king has to go here. Knight f3 check. He has to go here. Here is checkmate. Or here is checkmate. So sorry, I just bumped my microphone. But yeah, I didn't do any of that. We just agreed on a draw. So I drew the game. Now, I shouldn't have drawn this game. I should have won very easily. And I just wish that I could play more sensibly in over-the-board chess. I don't need to go for a big attack. I don't need to play for tricks. I can just be up a few points of material and play logical chess. And I'm going to really try to be doing that going forwards. The engine says, Raphael played with a 61.1 and I played with a 66.2% accuracy. Let's jump into game 2, which is much more beautiful. In game 2, I got to play against a man named Israel. His rating was 1231. And we got the white pieces, so I was able to play my beloved d4. My opponent played knight f6, I played knight c3, and here he played a very, very interesting move. And I spoke to him afterwards, and he had said that he thought it was a slightly different line, but the line he was going for was actually this one. I can't remember which gambit this is, but it's quite a common gambit. The move he played here was e5, and this is called the Maddigan Gambit, and I've actually played against this once in my online series. It was against the 6-time reigning US blind chess champion, and the game was very wild and crazy when we did it. But aside from all that, this kind of looks like an England gambit with a knight on f6, so I knew my position was fine. And I just thought, I'll play this like I play against an England gambit. So I took the pawn and my opponent moved his knight. Now, against the England, you want to hold on to this. So you either bring your knight out here or your bishop here just to defend this pawn. And that's what I did. Knight came out, he attacked, and here I just defended again. Now he can capture, but then queens come off, which is very good when you're playing against the England. Or he can develop and I can capture, and he recaptures and I can capture, and he has an isolated pawn, which is very good. So this is what I went for. Having queens trade off and is totally fine as well. But yeah, I was fairly happy with this. E3, so I can develop my bishop along this diagonal. He castles, getting his king to safety. I put my bishop on a beautiful square looking at h7, controlling this diagonal too. He brings his bishop out, doing sort of the same, and I jump into b5 with my knight. Now b5 was so that I could look at this pawn. If my opponent's not careful, I can take this pawn, and I'll just show you. Like, let's say he goes here, I can capture the pawn, he captures, check, wins his queen. So this is something in my mind. I thought maybe we can go for this. And so this seemed like a somewhat tricky move, but he knew this and he just played d5, protecting the pawn. So I bring my knight back into the center, a great square. And here, after he played his queen to d6, can you see the beautiful move that I went for? Well, if you're a fan of my YouTube channel, you probably know that I love a Greek gift, and this is what we went for. Bishop takes h7, checking the king. And if he goes here, well, I'm just up a clean pawn. I can pull back and life is good. But he didn't do that. He captured the bishop. And so capturing the bishop, you might say, oh, and you've just given him a bishop for free. But I calculated check, and I have two knights attacking this bishop, and I also have a queen hitting this knight. And so we're going to be able to take this bishop, and if he recaptures me, let's say he captures with pawn, then he's not defending this knight. So I was very happy with this. He went back, and in this position, I took on e6 with my knight, and here he captured on f2, which was somewhat wrong. Now, he should have just recaptured here, and been down a pawn and then down a knight, but it is what it is. Hindsight's 2020. But here he decided to capture on f2, trying to just tempo my rook, trying to confuse the waters a little bit. But I knew that this was not a great move, because I have the only winning move in the position, which is queen h5, threatening checkmate. And how does he stop checkmate here? Well, he found the only way to do it. Queen b4, I play c3, and queen e4 is defending the checkmate threat, but I'm allowed to just capture his queen. So I took, he took, I take his rook, he takes my knight, and I castle. So I know I'm just going to win this game. I'm looking at this square twice, and I have two rooks and a queen, and he's got two knights and a rook. So I'm definitely doing fine. The material inequality here is +9 for me. So he pulls his knight back. I move my queen over, threatening to take this knight on the next move because he can't capture back because he'd be in check. So he avoids that, and now the pawn is hanging. So I capture, he goes back again, I capture, he captures, and I only did this so that I could just open his king up. And here I played the move rook f1. He moves his rook over to tempo my queen. And here I had a little think. I thought, like, maybe we come here and, you know, and then look for a check. But actually, I saw if we come back to here, we actually have a check here if his rook comes here to defend the pawn that I'm attacking. And he did come here to defend the pawn, so I saw that we have a beautiful fork here. His king went to f8, we took the rook, and here my opponent resigned. So this game was a much cleaner game for me. I think it was a little fortunate that my opponent didn't realize that his opening was against knight c3. Instead of playing c4 and d4, he was trying to go for a different Gambit line. But it is what it is. And yeah, we got the win. The engine says I played this with a 91.6 and my opponent with a 76.7. Let's jump into game 3 where I play another Gambit. So we've had game 1, the Busch gas, game 2, the Maddigan Gambit, and game 3 we're going to get a von Hennig. Game 3 I got to play against Eric, a young man whose rating is 1376. I played him in another over the board tournament a while back, and he beat me even though I had like a +2 advantage. So he was all telling me how badly he was going to destroy me again, and so I really wanted my revenge today. And so I decided to play something a little uncommon for myself. I always play d4, but I played e4 instead. He went for a Caro Kann, so I thought I'll go with the von Hennig Gambit. d4, he goes d5, knight c3, he captures my pawn. I'm giving him this pawn, and we just develop. Bishop comes out to c4, looking down this beautiful diagonal. He defends his pawn because it's in danger. We attack it again. He captures. We recapture with knight, preparing a short castle. And here he moves out and attacks my knight. This is a very common square for the Caro Kann. But against the von Hennig, you have to put your bishop on f5 and pull it back here to defend f7. Now, Eric didn't know this, so we're able to hit him with the beautiful check on f7. He captured my bishop. He looked shocked. He couldn't believe what I had done. I threw in another check. He runs away like a coward, and I capture his bishop. I was feeling very, very clever. But here he moves his knight to d7. I short castle, trying to stay super active, trying to get all my pieces in the game, and he plays g6. Now this game, you'd think it's a completely clean game, but you'll see what happens. Bishop comes out to g5. He defends his knight. I take, he takes. I step my king over because this pawn looks like it could be annoying at some point if he has some kind of way to maneuver his knight and have the bishop and the queen looking at it. So I thought I'll just stay out of town. You know, my king's never going to get hunted. We'll be off in the woods somewhere. He moves his queen up to d7. I move my queen up to d2. He's preparing rook d8, I thought, so that he could attack this pawn. So I thought I'll just prepare rook d1. He didn't do this. He brought his other rook over here to defend his knight on f6. And he attempts this manual castle because he's not able to just castle in one move. So here I bring my other rook out to e1, putting my rook on the same file as the king. He moves his king. I had a long think here, and I did come up with the best move in the position. The move I played was knight to e4. And I was thinking we want to bring our knight over here to c5, hitting the queen, hitting here. If he tries to defend, we probably can tempo the queen away. And, you know, life's going to be pretty good. Looks like we have a lot of activity. We're also going to be looking at this with our rook. Our knight's going to be here. Maybe our queen can come here and we have discoveries on this. You know, I had all these thoughts in my mind. It just looked like I had a very active position. He goes king g8, one of the best moves in the position. And here I played the move that was top, knight c5, tempoing his queen. He puts his queen on d5, the best square for it. And now I have a little more of a think, like, do we take this pawn? If I take this pawn in the corner, he can hit me here and he wins this one. So I thought, I don't want to take that pawn. So then I started thinking about taking this pawn because he's no longer defending it with his queen. I mean, doesn't this look beautiful? Rook takes e7. What do you do if rook takes e7? My bishop's probably going to trade off here at some point. My knight can come in here looking at this, you know, just I have a lot of activity. If my rook can come here, it can also look at this square on b7. So then if I take here, let's say he takes this pawn on a2, then I can at least come here and grab this one. And it looks like I'm going to be doing fine. But after taking here, he actually has a beautiful move, knight e4. Knight e4 attacks my queen. I have to put my queen on e2. And now he has knight takes c5. And yeah, I'm going to recapture. And now he can capture g5 because this bishop was left undefended when my queen had to move. So like if we go back to here, if I try to stay defending this bishop, I could go here, let's say, but then he's got rook takes f1 checkmate. Thankfully, Eric didn't have a clue about any of this and he played the terrible move b6, and now my position is completely crushing again. And so I just put Eric out of his misery. I jump my knight in to attack this bishop, which is the main defender of this knight. He moves his rook up, we capture, he captures, I capture, he captures, we capture, he runs, and I threaten checkmate in one. He defends. I move my pawn up because I'm like, I don't want your queen jumping over here. I mean, it didn't really matter because I'm threatening checkmate in one. He moves his rook over. I pull my queen back. Threatening to just go here and trade off queens. He steps over. I pull back anyway. He pulls his queen in and I threaten a queen trade. He runs away, so I checkmate him. Sorry, Eric. Eric, by the way, lads, is a personal friend of mine. I actually gave him a ride to the tournament, and so this is me insulting him, and I hope you all enjoy me insulting him. No hard feelings. No, I'm not attacking some little kid that I don't know. It's Eric, you know, and I am allowed to insult him. He got absolutely destroyed by me, and my big brain is so powerful, and it makes me very happy that I'm able to share this game with you all. So the engine says that I played with an 85.5 and Eric played with a 75% accuracy. Now, this would have been a very clean game if I had not blundered that one position. But thankfully, Eric missed it too. Next time, I'm sure I won't be so lucky, so I better sharpen up my game. Let's jump into the final round. I got the black pieces again, and you all know that I did win because I ended this tournament with 3.5 points. We got the draw in the first round, but it was a very disgraceful win because I wasn't winning at all. So let's have a look at it. The fourth game I played was against Big Ed, and Big Ed and I have quite a history. The first game that we played, the games on this series, was a game where I had a forced checkmate in 4 and I missed it and the game ended being a draw. The second game, I believe, was a forced draw that I found that was kind of beautiful. The third game, he beat me. And I've been feeling pretty angry ever since. And so today's game, I was hoping that I could crush him. He told me that I need to crush him if I'm going to ever be able to take the pawn from his hand. And this picture here was us right before the game. And he said I couldn't take that pawn from his hand, but now I have taken it. So let's see how I did it. Big Ed played e4. And actually, Big Ed is known for playing every single opening on earth, and apparently all the kids at the Phoenix Chess Academy don't like playing against him because they can never prepare what he's going to hit them with. He'll play c4, he'll play e4, he'll play d4, he'll play knight f3. He does everything, and so I didn't really know what to expect myself, but we know what to do against e4. We played a Caro Kann. He goes d4, I go d5, he takes, I take. This is the exchange Caro Kann, but he hits it with the Panov attack, c4, my most feared Caro Kann. I hate the Panov. I just hate it. It's just boring. It's like trade, 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 and then it's tactical and scary. Knight f6, knight c3, and he is attacking this pawn here, but I am defending it twice, even though he's attacking it twice. His other knight comes out. This is the 4 knights, or it's called, I think it's called the Panov attack, 2 knights defense. I bring my bishop out to g4 to pin his knight to the queen. This knight can't move because I take the queen if it does. He captures the pawn. I capture. He pins my knight to the king, so now I'm no longer attacking here. I take his knight off. He takes my knight off. I capture and have an isolated pawn. He captures and has 2 pawns connected in the center. So technically his position's probably slightly better because I've got an isolated pawn. But I see that I can go queen d5, attacking this this knight here on f3. He puts his bishop on a rather odd square. I capture his knight. He captures with queen. I capture his queen, and he now has doubled isolated pawns. And so I thought, if this game just trades down, I'll have a winning endgame because his pawn structure is worse. Yes, I have an isolated pawn, but he's got double isolated pawns and an isolated pawn over here. So I play e6. He trades off the bishops, and here he plays rook to b1, controlling the open file. The position's completely equal here, but I need to play correctly. The best move here in the position is long castle, a very interesting move, and I kind of wish I saw this. It just wasn't even on my radar. It connects my rooks, and my king can protect this isolated pawn very simply, but I didn't see it, and instead I pushed f5. Here he goes king d2. I put my rook onto the d file because it's lining up with his king. Maybe I can play here and he can't take because I'll be checking him. But here he swings his rook down just to start taking off my pawns on the 7th rank. So I have to defend the 7th rank. He defends his rook. I capture, he captures, and I have to defend the 7th rank. He captures, I capture. Apparently, this is completely losing for me. In this position, Ed only has 1 move to have a winning position. Everything else is essentially drawn. King d3 is like half a point advantage for white, but he finds the top engine move. Would you believe it? He plays f4, the only pawn move that is good. Surprising, because you'd think, why don't you just advance the king and try to get super aggressive as soon as possible? That's probably how I would have played it. But this stops any advance, I suppose. And he's able to play this before I'm able to play it. And yeah, good solid move. I go king g6. He puts his king on d3. I go king h5, just going after a pawn so that I have a protected pawn on the side that can be passed. You know, this pawn is going to run. And if I can just get rid of the one guy in the way, I'm going to be able to run quicker. No. Ed messed up. He plays c4. And this was a big mess up because now he is no longer able to get a pawn past any of my pawns. If he had instead played king c4, the only winning move for him, then I go king h4, he goes king c5, I go king h3, he takes, I take, and now he goes d6, and I go g2, he starts running. And yes, I can run a little quicker here, but look what happens when we both promote a queen. He is first, and so his queen can come to a8. Beautiful move. I want to defend my queen. He captures, I capture, and now he can just collect all my pawns, and my king is way too far away to defend. So that was something to calculate. But Ed didn't. He played c4, and so now I'm just winning, and he tries to get a passer, but he's not able to. And I know that I can either play h5 or I can play g6. G6 just seemed more solid to me. And in this position, Ed resigned and put the pawn in my hand because I had finally beaten him in our 4th game of chess. I think this endgame was really stressful. I mean, like, that's tough. I don't know how you are able to calculate all of those moves without having like a cursor where you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, that's very difficult. But it was important for Ed to move his king first to clean up the pawns before moving his pawn to c4, where his king then was at the back and his pawns were in the front. Yeah, I think it's my fault for allowing the rook trades, and I shouldn't trade rooks unless I'm really confident on it. But we came in tied for first place in this tournament, which was really cool. But the person who came first place in the tournament, even though we were both on 3.5 points, he had opponents that did better than opponents I had. So his win was slightly higher than mine. So he got the first place trophy. But here's a picture of me with the second place trophy. I'm up to 1495 after this tournament. I hope you lads enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.